Hola, end of day 20 here, Saturday the 4th of November. I did sort of say I'd try and get something to you guys yesterday, but we had a pretty big day. Yesterday we were up at 8, Johnny and I started work at 8, and we worked right through to 8 yesterday evening with an hour for lunch in the middle, so there was no time yesterday. This one's going to be about olivas, which isn't too difficult, but if you eat them, like the ones you eat are called aceitunas, and the ones on the tree are called olivas. So that's a little tricky, I guess. Thursday we spent the afternoon with Jose out there. He was sort of teaching us the ropes. Pretty straightforward. I'll cut to a couple of videos shortly, a couple of time lapses I took yesterday of Johnny and I at work yesterday morning. And then Johnny and I all yesterday morning were out there again, and Jose got back from work about 2, and we went back out again to try and get to the 350 kilos, which is the minimum we need when we take it to the mill to get the olive oil pressed. So there was a bit of panic stations trying to get enough, and just guessing as well. There was no weighing at all. I'll cut to those clips now. You can see what we're up to. I've split it into 3 sort of phases. They're pretty self-explanatory, and then I'll talk about them afterwards. So the first clip there, I think I named it bashing, was it's a little misleading because we've got these big sticks. They're probably 3 meters long or something, and you can't really see it in the clips, but we're smashing the shit out of those trees. Like, it is warfare. There's no holding back, and Johnny actually broke his stick yesterday on one of the trees, which was Jose wasn't very happy about that. But in any case, it's sort of, you chuck the nets down. There's quite a lot of prep that almost takes as long as the actual hitting of the trees. Sort of have 2 nets. Got to get them all set up, and then you whack away for sort of anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Then shift the nets along to the next tree and repeat the process. Once you've done sort of 3 or 4 trees, and there's quite a lot of olives in there, you pack it all up, sort of try and, Johnny and I have got some different ideas about that. We don't reckon Jose had the best plan. So what we do is pull all the branches and a lot of the leaves out, and then sort of pull the net to one side, and that gathers all the olives in one place. Jose likes to pull them all to one spot first and then grab all the branches out, but they sort of get buried and tangled up and shit. So Johnny and I, we've got a slightly different method, and then so you get them pretty clean, which actually takes a heck of a long time. It's quite sort of it's not really frustrating, it's fine. The work's pretty relaxing, but it's sort of, you kind of want to get onto the next tree and get some more olives, but it does give you good sort of respite for you. The old shoulders get pretty sore whacking those trees, and it's good we balance there to sit down and pull some branches out. Then you wrap it up in the net, chuck it in buckets, pour it into the sacks, which you would have seen, and Bob's your uncle. Yeah. I've stolen some olives from the field and brought them in here, so I'll just run you through a few things I've learnt about the olives, and maybe you'll learn something. Right, so as you can see, I've got some olives in front of me here. This is a little bit difficult. I've got the headphones in because the sound seems to be a little bit better. But this one here, this is a normal sort of green olive that you might eat. Got that out of the jar downstairs. This one is off the tree. There's a green one as well. Not that ripe, quite small. You can see, probably give a weak comparison, quite a bit smaller than the other one. This is one off the tree as well. That's a little riper. You can see it's starting to go from green to black. And then this one here, also off the tree, is totally black. Again, size is probably, still a little smaller than the other one. And then this is another one off the tree, which is even riper again. You can see it's starting to dry out. Almost looks like a raisin. That's apparently quite good, because then you're just left with the oil, no unwanted water. So, and these, one from downstairs, bloody good actually. I've been told, it's quite salty, yeah. I've been told that to get them from, first things first, the black and green. Some people, I think that they're from different types of olive trees or whatever. They're not. It's just different stage of ripeness when they pick them. To get it from this to what I just ate, they cure them by sticking them in salt or brine or something and leaving them for a while. And I think that's why they sort of get a bit bigger as well, because they'd soak up some of that, and you can obviously alter the flavour a wee bit too. These ones off the trees, I've been told not to eat. I've been told they're disgusting and bitter and rah, but I don't think they can be that bad. I don't reckon it can be that bad. So I've got one here. I'll take this wee one here and give that a wee taste test for you guys. Oh man, that is awful. Oh, wouldn't I listen? Nah, not good. I can confirm. Jesus. Anyway, that's the breakdown. That's what you're looking at. So in total, the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we did 20 trees all up. Whacked them all in sacks, chucked them in the car, and drove probably 15 minutes down the road to the mill to get them pressed. We had 462 kilos all up. So we had this, we turned up, it's pretty funny, it's Friday night, 7:15 in the evening, and turned up at the mill, and it was just bedlam. There was people everywhere, it was going off. It's sort of funny to think, like, in New Zealand on a Friday night at 7:15, if anyone's at work, there's generally people start to question what's wrong with them, but it was all go. I'll show a wee clip now of the mill I took today when we went there to pick up the olive oil. Again, pretty self-explanatory. I might actually try a wee voiceover to point out the different things that are going on. Right, so this was me today, just sneaking in undercover. Everyone was giving me strange looks, but I'm used to that. Great service here, these boys. They're at the ready, open the boot up, and they just fire everything straight in. No worries, it's bloody great. I think that's obviously to speed things up a wee bit as well, but as you can see, bang it in the big hopper there, pretty nonchalant, no real reason to worry about that. And they go up that conveyor there on the right hand side, past old mate in the yellow cap. At the top there's a big leaf blower that blows all the leaves off to the left hand side of the screen, gets rid of all of them. The olives drop down, and then they start heading up the other conveyor. You can see that's on the heading up towards the left hand side of the screen there. They drop into that big piece up the top there, which I assume weighs them up there after the leaves, which I think is a bad business idea from them. But anyway, they'll shortly drop through. Once they've weighed them, there you go. And shit, I love conveyor belts. Then they run up the top there and plot them into the steel bins there, and take them away to be pressed. I'm sorry I can't really get any access into there, but that's the gist of it. Some of you might hate this, but I'm going to run through a little economics lesson now. So the 20 trees that we picked was 462 kilos that we took to the mill. Roughly 23 kilos per tree, but I can tell you that varies quite a lot. Probably some would be just over 10, I reckon, and some would be up around 30, 40. Jose paid the mill 14 cents for every kilo to turn it from olives into olive oil, plus 41 cents per 5 litre bottle. They pay 10% tax on getting the olives pressed, but 21 on the plastic bottles. So people listening in New Zealand might find that quite interesting. It's not one set rate for GST, 15% I think it is in New Zealand. Here it's it sort of varies depending on what's being done. All up, that's 80 euros we had to pay the mill, and that 462 kilos turned into 78 kilos or 85 litres of oil. Or it's a little less dense than water, that's why it floats. These guys here, they sell that on to family and friends and stuff for €7 for a 750ml bottle, or 25 euros for the 5 litre bottles. If you take the 5 litre price, which is obviously worse for them, they're going to get 425 euros from those 20 trees. Or if you take the 750ml price, that's going to be 793 euros. Take away the 80 euros we paid to the mill, and I worked out 38 man hours out there getting those picked. If we take €5 an hour, I don't know, it's hard to know really here in Spain, but I'd say that's probably almost on the generous side. It doesn't sound like much, but that's sort of the way things are here. Then you've got at the 5 litre price, 425 minus your 80 minus 38 hours times €5 is 155 euros, which is €7.75 a tree. The 750ml price, 793 minus 80 minus €5 times 38 hours, 523 euros, which is 26.15 per tree. Obviously, we're here on the work away, and that's part of the concept. And I think generally Jose has friends that help him, but this year they couldn't for whatever reason. I think for health reasons. So get rid of the labour. Then you've got the 5 litre price, 345 euros for the 20 trees, €17.25 a tree. For the 750ml price, 713 euros, which is 35.65 per tree. 200 trees or something roughly out there. So their profit, if you work on that same ratio, is going to be 3,450 at the 5 litre price, or 7,130 at the 750ml price. So somewhere between 3.5 and $7,000 for the trees out there. Yeah, make of it what you will, I guess. It's interesting to figure that all out though. For the rest, it's the work's good, it's nice, it's good being outside, out in the sun, working on the tan. It's quite physical, especially dragging the sacks around. You get some of the biggest sacks that get up around 35 kilo, I reckon. But that's all good, nothing wrong with that. And there's sort of a few, we sort of didn't get too much instruction, which is awesome. There's sort of, the trees sort of hang down and you don't want to sort of whack up the branches because then you snap all the ones off. You sort of got to whip them on the side. But they're real flexible, so they sort of just flop and then they'll come back and nothing falls off. So some of them you just got to fucking smash the shit out of. But it's all good fun. And you got to be careful which way you hit them as well. Sometimes I sort of try to hit, we didn't really get told anything, but I sort of try to hit towards the tree, because if you've got one branch hanging out the side and you give it a good whack, you hear the olives like 5-10 metres down the road. But yeah, and that was a sort of a bit of a test to see where the olives were at. We all made guesses before we went to the mill this afternoon to pick them up, and Jose, I think, guessed 60 litres. Sandy, I was 74, Sandy 78, Johnny 80, and we had 85, so that was bloody awesome. I think a lot better than what Jose had expected. He was sort of thinking maybe we'd have to hold off, maybe we'd jump the gun, but I don't think so. So we might even be back into it tomorrow on Sunday. We'll have to go downstairs and see. But it's good news. It's not really, I don't know if it's a Spanish thing or maybe just these guys, but they don't sort of get too excited about sort of good news and stuff. Like when he got his job or anything, it was barely a whisper. Maybe I just don't pick up on it because of the Spanish. But and today again, no sort of, I was trying to sock him up, get him excited about the good results. But anyway, that's all for now. Spanish, just ticking along, working away. Found a few sort of other little things I'm working with, but I'll save that for another time. This has probably gone on long enough. Ciao.